Yes, welcome to the first ever episode of the What Are We Doing Here podcast. And if anyone doesn't know why we're calling it that, Perchy's favourite sentence when debating is, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? And the premise of this show, and good evening to each and every one of you, the premise of this show is we are going to take things that we hear throughout each week, not things we're making up, things that we've heard, and we're going to ask the question, what are we doing here? Now, it's going to be opinions that we look at and think, what is going on? Statements that are made, things that players or managers have said, or that YouTubers and fans have said. We're not going to be mean about anyone. We're just going to have a laugh with it. So, the What Are We Doing Here podcast. Good evening to each and every one of you. As you enter the building, smash the like button. We should have 100 likes before in the next 5 minutes. Big up to each of you. Perchy, how you doing, man? Long time no see. How you doing?
I am all good, all good. This is quite, it could be a laugh. This will be funny. I can't wait. There's some absolute awful opinions that we'll easily go through. This is going to be great fun.
Oh, this is, listen, and this could be anything. This could be from WhatsApp groups, and we're not going to name people. But this could be from WhatsApp groups, anything over the internet, YouTube, comments that I see in my chats. I might bring up comments where people have responded to me on YouTube, like the one telling me I should take a lie detector test to see if I want Spurs to win the Europa League or not. These sort of absolute dumbass comments that are made. I'm going to start, Perchy. I'm going to go first, all right? Because it's my show, all right? It's like I'm the kid in the playground. It's my football, all right? But you are allowed to play with my football. Right. The first opinion I'm going to bring up, and everybody in the chat, I have been told in the last 2 hours, Perchy, I've been told in the last half an hour that Archie Gray gets into Brentford's midfield. Discuss.
I just think it's hilarious. I'll be honest. What has Archie Gray demonstrated in a Tottenham shirt that even comes close? Look, for me, Archie Gray is a football player that needs to be nurtured properly. We've not done that whatsoever. What we've gone and said is when we need a problem, you're just going to put you there. And people go, well, that's good. He's learning different positions. That's not what you want as a talent to learn. You go, you're playing central midfield all season. Win, lose or draw, you're playing there.
Yeah.
He plays right back, left back, centre mid. That's not a good thing. That's one of those. You do that for a player that has mastered his role and you're trying to expand his roles. For me, not immediately. And when people say he gets in at Brentford, for me, I just think it is ridiculous. Norgard is better than him. Damsgaard is better than him. Janelt is better than him. Jensen's better than him. Yomolchuk, I probably butchered his name, is better than him. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing here? Listen, and the thing is, I know lots of people will see this and go, oh, you're putting down our players. I'm not. But what I just don't understand, right? If we take this, as much as we can have a laugh, I want to talk about it. Listen, do I feel sorry for Archie Gray? Yes, I do feel sorry for Archie Gray because he's come to Tottenham. He's not being played in central midfield, and I'm told that he's a central midfielder. However, as a fan of Tottenham, I can only go by what I've seen. And what I've seen so far is this kid is somebody who's filled in well at fullback and at centre half. But for me, I haven't seen anything which makes me go, that's a top young player. He does okay. Now, if I use Bergvall of the same age, I do look at Bergvall and say, yeah, I see it. I get it. I think you're going to be a top player. Now, Gray could be, but we've got fans saying that he gets into lots of Premier League teams in midfield. And I've seen him play twice in midfield for Spurs. Twice. Yeah. One was against Fulham where we lost 2-0. I'm not blaming him for that, by the way. One was against Fulham, and the other one was, again, unfairly on him, chucked in. at Liverpool. So why are we at the stage, Perchy, where we're just so desperate for these kids to be better than we think they are that we're literally just trying to shoehorn them in to different teams and they're good enough for X, Y, Z?
No, I think it's a valid point. I think the argument I would always put, and I mentioned it just before we went live when we I was saying that, you know, when a player is good, when your rivals will big them up. I've always felt like that's an indicator, right? Like, look, as Tottenham fans, we go Nweri, talent, Miles Kelly, talent. Don't care if you play for Arsenal, you boys are talents. We had it when we had Dele Alli at the club. You had rival fans going, he's a top player when he's a top player, whether you're a rival or not. I don't see an Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, anyone going, I'd have Archie Gray at my club. He's a talent. No one says it. Look, he might come good. That's on us as a football club for what we should be doing for him. I said all along, I've said it when we signed him, let him stay at Leeds for another season. Let him get promoted with Leeds. Let him fill that with Leeds and then come to Tottenham. But the problem what Tottenham have done is unfortunately with the Archie Gray, and this isn't on Archie Gray, by the way, this is unfortunate that he has that price tag, and whether or not, and it'll probably go on to another topic we'll probably talk about a bit later, about another player, that we spent that level of money on a player that we don't really know how good is. Look, touch wood, he comes good and becomes the best midfielder we've seen at this football club, and he gets into the England team and he becomes amazing. Touch wood, we hope that happens. But you're paying that level of money for a player that you don't know what he could. He could equally become absolutely terrible, and hope he doesn't, by the way. And then we wasted 50 million quid. You don't use Bergvall as a good example. When you spend 8 million quid on a player, if he comes good, you go, wow, we've spent 8 million quid on a player that has turned out great. Vice versa. And if he doesn't go well, you go, it was an £8 million punt. We've paid £50 million on a punt on a kid. We don't really know if he's any good yet.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy. I just think that you know when I talk a lot about imagine it wasn't Spurs. You know when I say things like imagine this player didn't play for Spurs, imagine this player did, blah blah blah. That's how I think is always the gauge of how serious people are in their opinions. And what I mean by that is if Archie Gray, right, was doing what he's doing for the other way round, right? If he was at Brentford, filling in at right back, filling in at centre back, would anyone be sitting there going, I think that guy gets in Tottenham's midfield? You wouldn't, but because he's at Spurs, we kind of want him to be better than he is. But do you know what makes me laugh? The people that say it, like there's people in the chat that are saying now he would. No one can tell me why, Perchy. Like, literally no Spurs fan can sit down and tell me, you know what? He gets in above Janelt, Jensen, Norgard, Yarmouk, Damsgaard because of X, Y, Z. You know why, Perchy? Because we've not seen him play in midfield to say he's good enough to play there.
Exactly.
Right? So when the people are going, he gets in at Brentford, no one can tell me why.
And exactly. And I think it goes the other way, right? I think just to sort of make on a point that you mentioned about if he was at the other way around, would we sign him? I think exactly. Like, would Spurs fans have this innate belief that because they're at Tottenham, all of a sudden they're great? If we hadn't assigned Archie Gray, hear me out. If we hadn't assigned him, would any of us be sitting there going, we should be signing this kid from Leeds? Or insert what club he goes to? We wouldn't, would we? It's because it was that we had, again, it's a similar with Bergvall. Would any of us have gone, oh my God, I can't believe we've not signed Bergvall if we hadn't signed him? Probably not. It's almost this notion that because they've now joined Tottenham, we now have to put them on this pedestal when, for me, I've always been that. You earn your right to be on the pedestal. It's why we put Harry Kane on such a high pedestal, because he earned the right to be there, right? Yeah.
And I think look, Danny and I have always agreed on this. Big up to you, Dan. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the Hotspur Hood, please do. Danny and I have always agreed on this. I think the problem is so many people in the summer were waxing lyrical about my God, Archie Gray from Leeds. And there were people like me and Danny saying, not just us, I'm sure many of us were saying, but that money, depending on how you want to split it up, 25 million, the 15 million for Roden. I know
it was 40 million pound plus Roden going the other way, which worked out to 10 mil. So he is, when we sit in there and say he's 50 mil, right? We paid 50 mil, they paid 10 for Roden. That's how it worked, right?
Well, look, whatever was spent, my issue with it, and this again, this isn't a bad about Gray, right? If, like you said, if we had spent 8 million, 10 million on Archie Gray, and we'd said, right, do you know what? You're going back on loan to Leeds for a season. I'd turn around and go, fine. And then I can have my youth loan watch reports from all the fans that love these youth players, right? But we didn't do that. We bought him with a big chunk of our transfer budget. Haven't played him in midfield. And I always say, you look at the players that were available midfield-wise throughout world football that we could have gone and got that would have gone into our midfield straight away and made us stronger. But we didn't. We spent all of that money on Gray. And again, I feel sorry for Gray. Gosh, Perchy, this isn't me saying he's terrible and never going to be a good player. But unfortunately, we've got a guy there that when I do see him play, he looks weak. He looks like he needs to bulk up. He looks like he's rusty because he's not playing games. And he looks to me very much like a scared young kid.
I agree.
That's, that's the problem with it for me. I just don't get this need to try and make him better than he is.
The argument, I always flip it. If in the summer, is someone putting £50 million on the table to buy him in the summer? So whether that's how you want to judge it, would anyone put £50 million on the table to buy him back? No. So he's, in theory, on value, regressed on value. No one's spending that sort of money on Archie Gray.
Of course not.
Not right
now.
For me,
right now, they're not.
Oh yeah, right now. I'm talking right now, and that's the point, right? I think we overpaid on him. I agree. 10, 15, even 20 mil. I'm not even massively against it. But have a plan for the kid. We do this all the time. We don't have plans for these young kids. I feel sorry for Archie Gray put on this pedestal because everyone now is expecting this kid to come good. And that's pressure for a kid. He don't need that. Why do we have this need? And it's not just Archie Gray. He's the one we're having the conversation about right this moment. But it's about anyone that is under the age of 21. We have this innate reaction. It's Mikey Moore's the next one. He's going to be the next superstar. Let him just get there first before we start bringing do you know what's the worst? It's the superlatives that get used. He's going to be generational. We have no idea about that. There's no fact-based evidence to say that any one of these players are going to become generational. Let them get there and then we can all enjoy a player getting there.
Listen. And by the way, what I find funny is there are people in the chat saying, "Get off his back." Right? He needs time. Isn't that exactly what we're saying? Isn't that everything we're saying? Is people need to let him go out and stop putting him on a pedestal, right? Stop asking for him to play centre mid where clearly he is not a Premier League midfielder. Listen,
could you not go back and argue with that when they say? Could you not go back and argue that when they say, "Oh, get off his back"? Well, then don't keep telling us all that he's the best player he's going to be the best player in the world. It goes both ways. Just let the kid get there. It's almost like we're negative for having that opinion, but then they have to be. But if he doesn't get there, are they going to sit there and go, "Oh, I should have probably just sat there and gone"? Of course not. No one's asking for that, but just. It goes both ways, right? If you want to sit there and go, we're not, and by the way, I'm not criticizing Archie. I feel sorry for the kid. I feel sorry for the kid. I'm not blaming him.
No, listen, I'm not at all. I'm not at all. And do you know what? Listen, I think what we should do for this guy's development, and then we'll move on to the next topic. I think this guy needs a loan to a team where he's guaranteed to play central midfield week in, week out. Because the problem we've got two problems at Spurs now in terms of Archie Gray, right? Is if we get into the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
From what I've seen, this boy is nowhere near ready to be starting Champions League games of football. He's nowhere near that level for me yet.
Great.
Right? The flip side to that is if we're only playing one game a week and we don't get into the Champions League, how on earth is he gonna get established and learn and grow in midfield when we're gonna have 4 or 5 central midfielders and one game a week? Because let's be fair, right now, Perchy, Bergval's above him. Yep. Maddison's above him, Kulu's above him, Bentancur's above him, Basuma's above him. Now, whether people want to agree with that, and Sarr is above him.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sitting here saying I rate all those players, but straight away, you look at that, that's 6. Gray makes 7. Now, that's assuming no one else signs.
Of course.
So now you're in a position where we've got this kid that needs games, that needs to develop, and we've got no way to give him that game time. So for me, the only option I see is what we should have done this year. I think we're doing it 1 year too late. Get him on loan and say to the team, we want it written in the contracts that you are going to play however many games at central midfield. Learn the game, bulk out, because actually the last thing I'll say is people can talk about his time at Leeds. For the last 6 months at Leeds, he wasn't even playing central midfield. He was playing at right
midfielder, right? I hear what his position, and I think that's the key bit which I sort of went back on. We don't have to sort of go back over it, but I said at the beginning, we don't know. A player of his age should know what position he's the best at, not playing everywhere. You're right. If we see this kid as a central midfielder for Tottenham, let him go to. Do you know where it would be good? Let him go back to Leeds for another season. Just got promoted. Will be in the Premier League. Won't be easy. So it's not like he's going to have an easy ride there, not going to a team maybe like Leicester who've just got relegated, right? And they're going to have a strong team in the Championship. Go to a Leeds. It ain't going to be easy going back to Leeds where they've been promoted. Now they're playing in the Premier League. Something where you can go, okay, now it gives us an opportunity to see how this kid gets on. Right. And do you know what? If the question will be, this is the argument, isn't it? Right? Is that if he stays, you've got one or two things. You can't have both. You'll have fans that will be complaining if we sold Bentancur, Basuma, all that. So we only have Archie Gray playing at central midfield. They're going, oh, but see, this is what Daniel Levy does. But then we'll moan that why Archie Gray is not playing games. It's like it doesn't add up, right? You can't really have both. So if you want Archie Gray to start, then you've got to expect the likes of Bentancur, Basuma, all these players to be sold. And then you'll be going, well, there you go again. So I don't really know what the right answer is.
Look, I don't. Look, listen, like any young player that comes to Spurs, I hope they're a success. Yeah. Unfortunately, and this is just me, from what I've seen of him, I'm just... as I said, if I hated I always get told this, I hate the youngsters.
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here and saying, but with Bergval, I get it.
Yeah.
With Bergval, when he plays, don't get me wrong, you know me, I don't go overboard about these people, but with Bergval, I go, yeah, you could play first team football. You look physically, mentally, technically ready to slot into a first 11. Now, it might be that Bergval doesn't start next year, depending on the quality that you buy in front of him. But if you said to me right now, Bergval's going to play centre mid next year, I don't hate the idea. Mm-hmm. If you said to me, Archie Gray's going to play centre mid next year, I do hate the idea because, one, the manager's not giving him the game time there. So clearly, if the manager's not giving him the game time there, the manager's got 2 young midfielders, right, other than Gray. He's got Sarr, tiny bit older, Bergval the same age.
Yep.
Both of them play in front of Gray and centre mid. So how wrong can we be if the other 2 are getting game time and Archie Gray isn't? So for me, I think the conclusion is, let us know in the chat, loan, because I don't see how he plays otherwise.
Yeah. Look, and the thing is this is what annoys me. I see your mate Matt loves it in the chat. Matt is funny. He says saying like Savva doesn't rate great. It's not about not rating him.
Doesn't get it.
What can we rate? There's nothing to rate him on yet. I think that's the key bit, right? There's nothing really to rate him on. I haven't watched Archie Gray this season and gone, oh my God, you're amazing. Like, there's nothing. I equally haven't, by the way, said, oh my God, you're absolutely dreadful. It's a bit in the middle, right?
I agree.
You're right. We just don't know what position's best for you right now.
You know what? I left this comment out because I think this sums up perfectly. This is a brilliant comment. Comment from 11 Music Lover. I'm guessing that's meant to say. You don't spend 40 million on potential. Yeah, you do what Brighton do. How much did Brighton pay for Mitoma? Believer, right?
Yeah,
no, just
nothing. Yeah,
right. How much did Brentford pay for Visser and Umbremo? But Spurs have gone and whacked a huge fee on potential. Now, I get it. That's fine. But these are the same fans. So people in the chat, I say, you know when you do YouTube and you know people's opinions because you see the people saying that we've paid 40 million for his potential are the same people saying Daniel Levy doesn't back the manager.
Yeah.
Now, for me, you're telling me you couldn't have gone out and got an Archie Gray for 10 million somewhere across the world. You're telling me for every 18-year-old across world football, I couldn't have got an Archie Gray type for 10 million and then use the other 30 million to buy. Look at people that were available, right? People like Manu Kone.
Yeah.
People like Fofana. People like Kefrem Turam. People like Locatelli, right? I'm looking, these are all people who are under 30 million euros. And our fans want us to spend it on Gray, but then say Levy hasn't backed the man. Well, which one is it? Do you want it spent on Gray and potential, or do you want it spent on a guy that comes in and automatically improves the team?
And if you're spending 40 million pound on a kid, look, whether people like it or not, they get rated at the same level as first team players. That's first team money, right? And I hate this notion that we can't judge a player like Archie Gray. Why not? We're happy to judge everybody else. We judge everyone else. We judge Basuma. Basuma costs less than Archie Gray. If we can't judge Archie Gray, why do we judge Basuma every week? Bentancur every week? By the way, I'm not using that argument to say that we should be. I'm saying it goes both ways. If we paid 25 million pound for Basuma, less than Archie Gray. Well, I know we had 1 year left before people say that, but do you still get my point? If we can't, all of a sudden we can't judge a player that we spent 40 million quid on. I just don't get it.
No, I agree. Look, we'll move on. Listen, I'll say it again because I feel like people don't listen. I really hope Gray comes good.
Same. Agreed.
I really do. I just think this year, yes, people can say playing in defence has helped him develop. But you know what we've not developed? We've not developed him as a midfielder. He's not learned how to be a Premier League midfielder.
And that's on us as a football club. We've let him down as a football club. I agree.
Absolutely. So for me, even if we're talking about coming up, last thing we'll say on this and then you can go, right? If we're talking about sending him to Leeds who are coming up, if you're Leeds United and it's your first year back in the Premier League, do you want a 19-year-old that hasn't played in centre midfield for nearly a year and a half being your main guy that stops you getting relegated? Again, if I'm Leeds, I'm going, I want a not James Milner. I want a Jordan Henderson type. I want a James Milner type. I want a Gareth Barry. I want a Højbjerg, right? Good point. I want a senior pro. And this is why this year for me should have been stay at Leeds, play 46 games a season in the Championship, then come back to Tottenham, we integrate you. I think we've missed a trick. I really, really think we've missed a trick with it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
should we move on?
Let's move on. But what I would like is for there's just over 250 people, right? can we please smash that like button? Please. And I can't believe I'm seeing people saying that 40 million is good for potential.
Wow.
The world's gone mad. The world has gone absolutely mad. Perchy, the floor is yours.
Let's move on from one 40 million pound player to another, because do you want to know what I want to talk about now? That we have fans, you know who you are, I see you in the chat, think that we should be spending 40 to 50 million pounds on Matthias Tell.
Oh,
go on. Let's have this one out.
Everything I've just said about Gray, copy and paste it. We're going to do it with Tell. What I don't understand with this, Perchy, is, again, I'm not saying that in 2-3 years' time, Matthias Tell can't be a very good footballer. But at 19, I've seen nothing from him that makes me go, that's where I want 40 to 50 million pounds of our transfer budget to go. And the point I keep arguing with everybody and anybody, right, is we've already got young wingers to coach. You've already got Odeber, Yang, Moore. They're young wingers. Why don't we worry about coaching them and put in our transfer budget to what we actually need, rather than saying, you know what, don't worry, Bayern Munich, about giving us the money you asked for Harry Kane. We'll write it off. We'll take Tell. I genuinely don't understand why people would want that. I just don't.
What I will say on this, I'm going to give 3 names to you right now, and they all have a thing in common. You'll probably know what I'm going to say. That I think you could get: Javi Puado, Leroy Sané, and Rooney Bardial. What do they all have in common, Savva?
Are they all free transfers?
They're all available on a free in the summer, and they're all of them better than Matthias Tell right now. Where you go, any one of those you could get on a free transfer. By the way, I don't think we should be, because I think we've got enough wingers at this football club to us to keep buying more. We need to be offloading wingers, not buying wingers. I don't think we've got one good winger in the club. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think we've got one good winger in the club. Why would we sign one that's still not good? And the argument is do you know what the magical word that gets used? It's the P word that needs to be banned from football. Potential. It's almost like we've seen what's happened with Archie Gray and gone, let's do it again. Like, why would you spend 50 million quid on potential? If you want to go and spend 50 million pound on a winger, go and spend it on a proper winger. Manor Solomon, I'd have him over Matthias Tell right now. And he's already an employee of our football club. Like, it's like we don't learn. And we've been brainwashed at this football club. Our fans, some of us are on the right side of history. Some of them are being brainwashed that buying young players all of a sudden is the greatest thing that we should be doing. And people won't like what I'm about to say. Daniel Levy loves you lot as fans now, because we can just keep buying kids and there's no real standards anymore.
Look,
am I wrong?
I just think, I think, let's have a look at this comment. I think Foxy is bang on. Foxy is bang on. Again, this is my point, Foxy, right? If we want to go and get a young 19-year-old winger, by the way, we've already got young 19-year-old, 18-year-old, 20-year-old wingers, right, to develop. We just went and bought Odeber, by the way, in the summer. Yeah. Shouldn't we worry about developing him before buying Tell? And Yang, by the way, right?
Yeah,
and
Yang, more,
right? You are bang on, Foxy. Again, I'm going to say the same thing I said about Gray. If we want to go and buy a young, talented winger that we think we see something in and has potential, why don't we go to France, to the Czech Republic? I could just name countries here. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Why don't we go to one of these leagues where they don't have a lot of money, find a young player and go and do what we did with Bergvall?
Yep.
Spurs have signed from the Czech Republic for 11 million euros. And you go, oh, potential. because you know what? If that 11 million, if that player doesn't work out, you'll sell him on for somewhere in and around 11 million euros. You're cool. But we're talking about this guy he's going to be what, 50, I think 50 million euros is at the moment the fee that is there.
Yeah.
So they'll probably try and get it down. But why do we constantly only want young? Like, why? Why don't we want Mbuemo? Why don't we want Matoma? Why don't we want next level down even? Semenyo?
Yeah.
Why don't we want these players? Clivert. Why are we constantly looking at these really expensive teenagers?
You've even got that young lad that went to Leicester in the summer, in January. Is it El-Anusi? Is that
El Canute.
El Canute. Look at him go, good little player. If you get him from a relegated team for £10 million, you go, okay, great. Now, I'll flip it. And this is what I'll sort of go back to. If we sign Tell and you, as a fan, you're advocating us signing Tell, and then we lose Mikey Moore, and then he turns out to be great, that we all think he might, and he goes to Man City or whatever's academy, and then turns out to be one of a winger for them for generations. That's on us as a fan base for wanting us to sign Tell. If we think, and look, you know me, I don't blow things into over the top and stuff. But if we as a club think that Mikey Moore is going to be our next best thing that comes out of our academy, surely our job is to go, we are making sure you get into our first team, and this is the reason why. All we seem to be doing is buying wingers in his position. Then he goes, like, he came off the bench yesterday, and I went, he's only getting off the bench because the manager doesn't want to bring on players that might get injured that he might need on Thursday. He wasn't going to get on the pitch if we were out of the Europa League. If we were out of the Europa League and playing that game, he weren't making the pitch. Am I wrong?
Mate, you know, you're not wrong. I just think I kind of want this fan base to decide what they want.
Yeah.
Like all I hear is, and again, I don't want Levy in. You know, everyone knows my opinions on the protest and Levy in and all that. But we sit here and go, we want Levy out because he doesn't do enough for the club. He doesn't buy us good enough players. And then we're sitting and asking for these players that aren't good enough and that are all potential. And this is the thing. And I'm not going to feel sorry for Daniel Levy. But let's imagine this, right? In the summer, Tottenham Hotspur go and drop the £50 million, the £40 million on Tell, right? Mm-hmm. Bearing in mind, that's a big chunk of Spurs' transfer budget. Let's assume we spend, I don't know, 125 million, right? I don't know. I'm just, right? If we spent 125 million in the summer, that's just under half our transfer fee has gone on Matisse Tell, right? So now we go and buy him. When the season starts, loads of people will go, oh, Daniel Levy's not back the manager again.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, but Daniel Levy didn't buy senior pros. But there'll be the same people saying, I really like Tell. We should sign Tell because he's got potential. So what do we want, Perchy? Do we want to go and buy Mbuemos? Or do we want to go and buy Matisse Tells? And then what will happen is it doesn't matter. If Tell signs and he doesn't do a lot, all you'll hear for the next 2-3 years is he's only young. He's only young. He's only young. If you want to sign young players, stop using that. Stop using that. Not you, but we've got to stop using that as the reason, right? Like, again, this is where it doesn't make sense. How many wingers do you want to buy? So,
sorry, I'll address this one. I'll address this one.
Go.
Buy senior pros with him. By you spending senior pro money on him. We're spending so basically, love you to bits, mate. Top bloke. But what I'll say to you on this, so what you're advocating us spending £50 million on Tell, that's the price tag from what we know. We might get it down. But then you'll want us then to spend £20 million on senior pros. It doesn't make sense. Surely you spend £50 million on a senior pro that comes into our team that makes us better. I'm confused. So I just don't get how the logic is.
What I don't get with it is, so let's use this logic. So, and let's assume Spurs, again, we haven't won it yet. Let's assume we don't win the Europa League. So Tottenham are playing one game a week, Perchy.
Yep.
But we're going to go and buy Tell and another that he wants. So there's two wingers.
Yep.
You've got Mikey Moore. You've got Brennan Johnson. You've got Kulusevski. You've got Son. You've got, all right, Solomon and Hill will come back and probably be sold, and Werner will go as well. But now we've got 6 wingers.
Did you say Yang in that as well?
Yang, 7. Now you've got 7 wingers and 2 positions in which to play them, playing once a week.
And by the way, we're not confirmed to be in Europe next season as well.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. If you're playing once a week. So why, like, to Phil's point there, why not just get that senior pro? Why get the senior pro plus, like, what is this fascination with must buy young? What is the fascination with it?
Oh, it's confusing. The last point I'll make on the whole thing was this. Is Matthias Tell any better? Has anyone seen from him being at the club that he is anywhere better than what Mikey Moore can do? Because I'll be honest, there's much difference. I see 2 young players that really haven't done loads yet. Mikey Moore's a lot younger, understandably. But why don't we want to improve our young players? Why are we trying to go and spend £50 million on a player that hasn't done it anywhere he's been at? The best goal scoring things was 10 goals in 50 games. So he averages 1 in 5 or something, that averages like that. If he was at Bayern Munich, scoring stupid amounts of goals, scoring loads and loads of goals, you got, okay, I get it. He hasn't even done it. He hasn't even done it for us. I'll flip it. If he came into us and he scored stupid amounts of goals for us this season when he came in the January, and we go, wow, he's come in and hit like a house on fire and he's scoring every week. He's the best player on the pitch. You go, you buy him. He's not even the attacker on the pitch half the time.
Mate, I agree with you. And by the way, I saw Notorious PIG. I know you get on my back, but let's try and get on. We'll try and be friends. Mate, I agree with you. But let me ask you this, the Notorious PIG, which I really like as a name, by the way. I think that's very clever. Let me ask you this. I agree with you. It's Moore's breakout season. But if you take all the minutes that we gave to Werner and Tell, and instead of giving it to 2 players that aren't Spurses, gave it to Mikey Moore, who is Spurs player, think how much more now he'd have experience. Think how much more he could develop. Think how much more confidence he's had going into this summer to be a first-team player next season. So this is my point. I agree with you that he needs to be eased in. I'm not sitting here advocating that Moore should start every game. But we've got our own young wingers like Odeber and Moore that are being overlooked so that Timo Werner and Mathys Tell, who aren't even that good and are on loan, are playing in front of them. It doesn't make sense for me, mate. It doesn't make sense.
I'll ask you in the chat a question then, and we'll wrap it and move on to another one if you want. But if any of you in the chat and Savva yourself, if you were Mikey Moore's agent, what would you be doing if you're hearing that Spurs are going to sign Tell permanently? What would you, if you were his agent and his family going, they're about to sign another player in front of you, you'll be finding ways to get out of the club to go somewhere that they actually go, do you know what? And do you know what will happen? And hear me out. Fans want Tell, will then blame Daniel Levy why one of our talents has left for another club. That's what will happen, right?
Well, yes, absolutely. This is the thing. And by the way, I'm not going to sit here and back Daniel Levy or anything. But if that happens and Mikey Moore leaves because he's not been played, can't have a go at Daniel Levy on that.
Fans
can't have a go at it. Look, listen, again, I'll caveat, I don't know. Mikey Moore could be sensational.
Yeah.
Mikey Moore could be another kid that had all the hype in the world and flopped. We don't know. But what I do know is all these minutes I'm seeing with Tell not scoring goals, not assisting, I'd rather that was Mikey Moore not scoring goals and not assisting, but getting minutes in his leg. Now, I'm not even a big fan of Odegaard. No, that's harsh. It's not that I'm not a fan. I need to see a lot more, right?
Yeah.
I know he's had injuries, but Odegaard's our player, Perchy.
Yep.
Our obligation surely should be, let's blood tell Odegaard into this team. Let's give him the games. But what happens in these big games is when Son's not there, Odegaard don't play. He goes straight to Matisse Tell.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't think Matisse Tell's the worst player I've ever seen. I just don't think he really does anything. He doesn't do anything where I go, yes, that is, I'm not looking at him going, God, he's like Florian Wirtz at that young age. He's like Musiala at that young age. Yeah. I'm looking at him going, you could be any winger from any club at the age of 19.
But I think that's where I sort of tried to get on with. You don't look at him and go, we should be signing you. He doesn't put performances where I go, yeah, we've got to make sure we get you. Like, I know it's a slightly different one I use, and he's a different position, and I know he's already an obligation, but I look at Kevin Danzo for 20 mil and go, if he was an option, I go, yeah, you get him for 20 mil. That's a good deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's a different position, and he's obviously, but if he was an option, I'd go, yeah, I'd be signing Danzo. He's done enough for me to go, I'd pay 20 mil for someone like him.
No, absolutely. I mean, but look, when people are saying Moore is not ready, I've seen absolutely nothing from Tell that's better than Moore. Like, I've not, with Tell, I've seen him score a penalty. Sure, great. Right? I've seen him score one which bounced off him. He didn't even know it hit him against Wolves, and one where he stuck his leg out against Villa. I've seen nothing where I go, yeah, that's why you're in the team. So again, Phil saying Moore is not ready, I don't see any difference in the two. I tell you what, I see a difference. One comes with the Bayern Munich tag.
Bingo.
One comes with, I've played for Bayern Munich. That's what it is.
But I'll retort to Phil. He's saying that Moore's not ready. How can he ever get ready if we keep buying players in front of him?
Agreed. So, okay, here's last question on this and we'll move on. So here's the question then. So Bill wants to buy Tell when we've already got Yang at the club, right? We've already got Moore. We've already got Brennan Johnson on the other side and Kulu, who apparently aren't going anywhere at the moment, right? And he wants to sign another one with them. Okay, brilliant. So now we've got all these wingers. And by the way, that's assuming that Sonny buggers off this summer, right? So now you've got all these wingers, Perchy. Let's say Mikey Moore goes on loan. Tell turns out to be a hit. So Mikey Moore comes back. How does Mikey Moore play? Right? How does Yang play? How does Odegaard play?
Yep.
You can't have an endless supply of wingers. I don't get it. Listen, I want to move on to the next subject because what are we doing here? What are we doing here? It's been a very strange season, Perchy. There's a lot of love for our manager and there's a lot of hate for our manager. What do you make? Because this opinion cracks me up. I get this sent to me about 50 times a day on my WhatsApp comments. It's madness. You, Savva, and I'm guessing this means you as well, Perchy, because I know your opinion.
Does me as well.
You guys, you can't celebrate if we win the Europa League because you don't want Ange. What do you make of this? Fans being told they can't celebrate winning a trophy because they don't like the manager. What are we doing here, Perchy? Discuss.
These are the funniest lines ever, by the way. I love when I hear this because it is the least intelligent thing ever. You can't celebrate something that you have expected to happen. Mental. So because I don't rate the manager means I can't celebrate it. Well, that doesn't work like that. It's mental. Like, we're all here as fans that support this football. I don't support Ange. I don't support individual players. I support Tottenham Hotspur. Why can't I? There's managers that I've loved. There's managers that I've not loved. But I still support Tottenham. It is the most backwards opinion ever. And it's mad because the same people saying that, let's just say hypothetically, I don't want it to happen, but let's just say hypothetically we don't win the Europa League. At what point, where do these fans then go? Because they've been wrong all season. Absolutely wrong all season about this manager, and they've doubled, tripled. I've never seen anyone else. I didn't see fans do this with Conte. I didn't see this people doing this with other terrible managers. Remember when we had one day Ramos?
Yep.
Will we not celebrate one day Ramos winning us a Carabao Cup or Carling Cup at the time because we didn't rate him as a manager? It's like a new age of fan that is cropped from this now. It's this social media kind of attitude of it. It's weird for me, and I'll let you carry on with it.
Listen, I just find it funny. Like this notion. What I like as well is that it all wraps in together that because you've got a certain opinion, you're not a fan. I find it hilarious. We've got to this stage where, you know, I mean, I'm getting it every day. And look, I'm not saying I'm a massive channel, but the bigger my channel gets, the more comments I'm getting, and the more comments you get, the more a lot of them are not very nice. And I love it where it's you're a fake fan. Why? Like you're a fake fan. Why? I've said we're going to win the Europa League, right? Yeah, but you want the manager gone if he wins it. Yeah, okay, cool. But that doesn't make me a fake fan. It means I've got an opinion that's different to yours, right? But this notion that I don't like Ange, everyone knows that. I don't think there's a single Spurs fan out there who watches the internet that thinks Savva likes Ange, right? I think that's fair. Ange wins the Europa League. Cool. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Do I still want him gone? Yes. But that means I can't celebrate my... Let me give you a better example than your one. No offense, not playing top trumps. Let me give you a better example of a manager at this club who won a trophy that no one wanted. Right? George Graham. George Graham was an Arsenal legend. Right? No one wanted him. Anyone who's old enough to know this era, in the chat, you'll agree with me on this. No one wanted George Graham at the club. George Graham comes in, wins us the League Cup, right? I remember everyone losing their minds at Wembley. No one cared that it was George Graham on the day we won the trophy. Yeah? George went not too long. It wasn't immediately after, but George went after that. Cool, you can go. So this attachment to it being the manager, like, oh, you can't celebrate. I find it baffling. I find it baffling.
Well, as a collective, as a fan base, I expect 99.999% of our fan base don't rate Timo Werner. So if he comes off the bench and scores the winner in Bilbao, can't you lot not celebrate? You've been wanting Timo Werner to be gone all season. So it goes both ways. Oh, no, but I support the team. That's what we're doing. Just because I don't like an individual that manages our football club doesn't mean we can't. Like, I just find it silly. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Mm. You know, I mean, again, no, I won't need to be humble about anything. Ange will have delivered what he should have. He's had, as I said, Perchy, he's had I'm not going to belittle it. I don't want to belittle it. He's had a nice run.
No, it's one of the easiest runs in the Europa League I've seen in a very, very long time. I think it's...
sorry, you can celebrate, of course. I don't need your permission. Mate, listen, you know, I don't need anyone's permission out there to celebrate that the team I've supported for 40 years win a trophy. But what makes me laugh, Perchy, let me ask this question.
Oh, go on.
Right? Does this mean now, you know, like the whole Ange thing, I've never seen a manager divide the fan base like this man.
Mad, isn't it?
George Graham didn't even divide the fan base like this man, right? Are we at the stage now where every manager that comes in, we're going to have this section of fan base that it doesn't matter if they perform badly, that just say you're a shit fan if you don't want the manager here? Because let me give you an example. We might bring in a new manager. And it might be someone that I want. It might be someone that you want. It might not be. But you know what? Give them a chance. If they do badly, guess what? I want them gone. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, it's silly. And I just want to go back on a point you made. I think this is what really is starting to irritate me when I see a lot of people going, well, if he wins the Europa League, he's delivered what Matt said. Like, I sit there and go, hang on. So basically what we're saying is this, in Matt's logic, I saw his comment in there. If his logic is, if Ange wins a final, he succeeded. If he doesn't, he's failed. We're basing our football season where we've played X amount of games, where we've been crap for nearly 60, 70% of our games this season, based on one kick of a ball. Like, you could have a 6th game where we nick and get an undeserved penalty and win the Europa League. We'll all celebrate, right? And then it will be, well, he succeeded. Well, like, yes, he's delivered a trophy, but he's been absolutely atrocious this season. Both can be right, but this very simple mindset that all of a sudden, this simple mindset that all of a sudden that winning one game of football is the making difference of how good our season's been. I can't live by that knowledge. It doesn't make sense to me.
By the way, this is the chap that told me I need to take a lie detector test.
Did he? Oh, Matt, Chris, please set it up. I'd love that. That's a YouTube video, by the way, in the summer. I think that's a YouTube video.
Mate, do you know what? Sean and I were talking about it last night on WhatsApp, Sean Butler. I said, can you imagine a series of videos where YouTubers and football fans are asked questions, see if they believe it or not? Because I'd love to see some of these opinions when people are going, oh, I love Archie Gray, whether or not they actually mean it. But what makes me laugh is, like, I think this guy supported Spurs for about 2 years, if I remember rightly. This is an Australian. I can tell you right now, this is an Australian. I've got no problem with that. But he supported Spurs for about 2, 3, 4 years, if I remember rightly, telling me that I won't be celebrating. Perchy, do you know one of the games, the first games I was taken to? I don't remember it at all. One of the first games I was taken to was the 1984 UEFA Cup final as a 2-year-old, right? Now, let this sink in. So in the early 80s, I'm on the shoulders. No idea. Don't remember any of it, right? I'm on the shoulders of my uncle, right? Who was looked after us all the time. I'm on the shoulders of my uncle, being made to watch football. No idea what's going on. I'm a 2-year-old, blah, 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 right? And I'm being told by people who have supported the club for 2 to 3 to 4 years that I won't be celebrating that we've won a trophy in my, you ready? I know this makes me old. In my 40th season of supporting Tottenham, 40th, you won't be celebrating. How childish has the world got that we've got to this stage?
Yeah, I just find, I think it's hilarious at this point. We've got this notion, everyone's become this sort of gatekeeper on what we can and can't do. Like, if you do this, that makes you a bad fan. If you do this, means you're a good fan. So I'll flip it back, right? The people just want us to sit here and go, we're great. End of stream, Dave. I don't know what people want. We try to have constructive and much more linear debate, debate about football. And it's like everyone just goes, well, because you don't rate Ange, you don't support Tottenham. Hang on, he'll be gone in a few months. Couple of months, he'll be gone. Will all those fans that sit there and say these things stop supporting Tottenham when Ange is gone? Probably. It's silly, isn't it?
Thanks, Robert. Thank you. See, Robert's given me permission. I love it. I just find it hilarious. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether you've supported Spurs for 5 minutes or 50 years. That's not the point of what I was saying. I just find it funny that somebody that wouldn't be able to have a back and forth with me about Spurs down the years. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't be able to have a conversation with me about greats of the past and brilliant matches and the Spurs managers and players. has the cheek to tell me that I won't be celebrating. Why would I not be celebrating Tottenham winning a European trophy? It makes no sense. Like, you know, fair weather glory hunters are not. I don't know what that means.
What?
I don't know who he's talking
Fair
about.
weather.
I just don't get it. If I'm honest, I really don't get it. Really, we should do it. I'll tell you what, mate. You send me the live text to test, and we'll do it. I love that I have to confirm. Perchy, you know what makes me laugh, right? Anyone who knows me, this is the brilliant thing, and Perchy, it's going to be the same for you, right? Anyone who knows me from the age of talking to now will tell you I don't shut up about football and I don't shut up about Tottenham. You're in a WhatsApp group with me where we are talking football all day. My wife is like, what on earth are you lot talking about? Like all I do is Tottenham. I've got YouTube creators out there trying to tell the rest of the world that I'm not a real Tottenham fan when all I do is talk Tottenham. I have a YouTube channel that is dedicated to talking about Tottenham. And these people think that they need to give permission as to who can celebrate.
This sort of, as I said, gatekeeping of what we can and can't do. Like, as I said, it becomes tedious at this point. It's just like, I just find it silly because, do you know what it is? Is these same fans won't be saying these things if you just said that everything was great, nothing was wrong. Like, we could be relegated, and it'll be, oh well, you're so negative for think. Like, I just think it's silly. Why can't we have adult conversations anymore? What's happened with that? You used to have these conversations after a game down the pub, but now because it's and I'll clear up a little bit of when people say negativity sells on the internet. You're wrong. It's the other way round.
It's the other way around.
This lie that gets portrayed that you have to be edgy and that's not true. Look at some YouTubers. I'm not mentioning names, but they're very, very positive and their views go like that. Just saying.
I've always said, right? I've always said, and I show people on here to prove it. My most watched videos are me saying nice things about Ange.
Yeah, same.
My most watched videos
are me saying views nice on a video for it.
My most watched video. Sorry, what's happening? Oh, sorry. My most watched videos are me saying nice things about Ange, right? But I'm told, oh, but you're negative because that gets clicks, likes, and views. Perchy, you and the rest of our WhatsApp group know my view. It never changed. You know this is not a YouTube thing. I am this way. Anyone who meets me, this is me. This is my view.
Opinions, right? Man.
You know, it is that, again, Matt, if Ange wins, just call a spade, hold my hands up at what? Winning a Europa League where the hardest team he would have had to beat is Man United, who are 14th in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Look, it's your turn for the next one. What are we doing here?
I think it's your turn, isn't it? What was the last one we did? I can't remember the last one.
Was fans being told they can't celebrate?
Oh yes, that was the last. That was the last one. That was a good one. Yeah. What should we? What's the last one? I did see some. Let's have a little butchers quickly. What?
And by the way, Notorious PIG, listen, dude, as I said, I've got no problem with you being here, and I know what you say about me on other shows, but it's fine. I'm a big boy and can take it.
I think
when you're saying sometimes the league has to be sacrificed to win a trophy, that's not good enough. Yeah. If you're saying we're going to finish 7th or 8th but win a trophy, sure. Not 16th or 17th with 19 to 20 defeats. That's not sacrificing the league to win a trophy. Sorry, that's not true.
I know what I'm going to end on. I'm going to end on one that Court and Jura won the argument easily on, is Spurs with a proper manager this season with this squad gets Champions League football by league position comfortably.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
I'll stand by it.
I don't think comfortably
I'm talking this season, though. I'm not talking. I'm talking about the season that we've seen this season.
No, look, I get it. I get it. So we're talking about this squad this season with a proper manager. Look, I predicted 7th at the beginning of the season, but a lot of my factor was I don't rate the manager, right? So all these people who tell me I'm pessimistic and negative, I got our league position wrong by about 10 places. I was 10 places too positive. The way I look at it is this. And I'm going to steal something from you. So I'm going to steal something from you. Is Antonio Conte with a terrible squad of footballers managed to get 4th just by getting them organised. Now, I think in most seasons, I would look at this squad and say, no way. However, this year, no one has seemed to want to pull away the top 5, which gets you Champions League. So if you're saying with a better manager, could this team have got top 5? I don't see why not, because I don't think we should be anywhere near 19 defeats. So I don't know about easily, but I think we you know what we should be. I'll tell you what, let's bring it up. Let's have a look at the league table. I'll tell you where I think we should be. Exactly where I said, right? Where did I say we'd finish? 7th.
7th.
Right? 7th right now has you bang level on points with the Champions League team. That's where I said Spurs would be, and that's what I stand by. That's where we should be in the league.
And the argument I used Conte's team because I thought Conte had a crap squad, but with a Son and Harry Kane. That's what he had. I look at the team now. And I go, as a team, we've got a better team. May not be got the better players in Son's regressed massively and Kane isn't here anymore. I look at it now and I go, we got 71 points with Conte. That I worked that out at 71 points right now puts us 4 points clear in 2nd place with 3 games left. Now, let's just say we lose those last 3 games. Are you saying that all of a sudden drops us out of the top 4 or top 5 as it would be now?
Just quickly, can I just, sorry.
Sure.
I have to prove this. Everybody on my channel knows at the beginning of the season, this is what I predicted. There you go. I even predicted the Golden Boot, most assists and Golden Glove. I predicted City to win it. Got that wrong. Arsenal 2nd. Probably going to get that right. Liverpool got that wrong. United got terribly wrong. Chelsea currently sitting in 5th. I've kind of got that right. Villa are currently 6th or 7th.
7th, aren't they? Yeah.
Right.
Newcastle were in there as well. Yeah.
Yes, Chris. There you go. So again, when I see you on other channels talking about me in the chat, I see you, mate. You're telling people I'm pessimistic. Look how I predicted Spurs to finish this season.
I think you realistically got 4 wrong, really, in the grand scheme of that. That's not bad. West Ham are nowhere near 9th. Spurs are nowhere near 7th. Man United nowhere near 4th. And Forest are nowhere near 16th. The rest kind of fits in itself, right?
Look, I think it's the same as anything. Listen, let's be fair. The only one I really care about there is predicting Tottenham. The rest you've just got to kind of put in, right? But I predicted 7th. So when everyone's going, oh, Savva's pessimist, Savva wants failure. How? I predicted 9 league positions above where we're actually finishing. If anything, haven't I been optimistic in a roundabout way?
Yeah. I think now from next season there's got to be a rule is post a community post out there. Post a community post out there. And unless you've commented under there with your league predictions, you can't talk about it. Because this is the thing, right? And Chris, big up to you, mate. You're in the chat. Big up to you, my friend. But unfortunately, where you don't get it is that when people like us say our opinion is recorded and on a public platform. So our opinion is scrutinized. I can guarantee you, my friend, you did not say that we would be 16th with 3 games to go. Just saying.
Yep. Please, can we stop using this word sacrifice the league? We didn't sacrifice it. We've just been dreadful in it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I don't think we didn't
is-
choose to lose 19 games. We didn't choose to lose 19 games of football.
Very funny editing, Savva. I mean,
What?
let me block him. Do you know what? Normally this guy's quite funny, but I'm not going to have this. Very funny editing, dude. I am not clever enough to edit things like that. I don't know what.
I mean, it's very easy. You can put up the video the stream that you actually put up at the beginning of the season if you needed to.
Sure. Everyone who watches me knows I predicted 7th, right? Everyone knows I predicted 7th.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he says, so why are you saying Champions League if you predicted? Are you not? Did you not? Oh my God, Chris, I'm saying Champions League with a better manager.
That was the whole purpose of the point here.
That was the whole purpose.
What are we doing here?
Chris?
You've got to learn. Listen, these first before this. Come on.
Oh my God, these people crack me up.
I love it.
It's brilliant. Listen, look, I don't think nailed on. I think there's some decent teams in the Premier League. What I do think though is where we are right now, we should be where Aston Villa are. That for me,
that's fair.
Perchy, all of these Spurs fans, when I put those predictions up and did a show about my predictions, were telling me, you think we're going to finish? You think, hang on, let me just double check. Hang on, where was it? Make sure I get this right. So, they were saying to me, you think Chelsea and Villa are going to finish above us?
Yeah, Man United are going to finish above us, yeah.
I was openly mocked about these teams finishing above us. Chelsea and Villa are currently 22 points above us. I was openly mocked.
Yeah, I look, as I said, to sort of go back to it, as I said, if we had a proper manager and a proper coach,
agreed.
I stand by it. I think we get with this league in how. Let's be fair. This is a league where Manchester City have lost 10 games of football. When are we ever going to see another season that Man City lose 10 games in a season? It never happens in our recent memory. And I look at it and go, if you had Glasner in charge, I use him because he's the one I want as our next manager. Call me a Glasner sexual all you want, because I will be if we sign him. I don't care. That man is a proper coach. And
is this guy dumb? Sorry. Matt, I didn't compare us to Villa. I said Villa would finish above us. I showed you that. What I said was we should be where Villa are because Villa are currently 7th in the bloody league table, you donut.
Do you know what I love about this? Do you know what I love about this comment? Matt, I wish you were back in the day when we had the podcast with me, Savva, Sean and Henry. Back when me and Savva got absolutely roasted in that chat for saying that Villa are going to be above us in a couple more seasons. And now everyone's gone flip now to how can you consider us getting players in the Villa's team? It's gone full circle. I love it.
I find it hilarious, right? I always say this to my wife as well, right? When I talk into this little microphone here, what I say, I think something different comes out onto YouTube. Like, he clearly heard me say we should be where Villa are now because Villa are 7th, which is where I predicted us to be, right? So you said we should be where Villa are, but they are 7th. We're not good enough to be. Sure. Okay, Matt. So let's use their logic. Let's use their logic, Perchy, right?
I love it.
We're good enough to win the Europa League, right? And I have to praise Ange and hold up my hands and admit I'm wrong, but we're not good enough to finish in the top 7 of the Premier League.
It's mental. It doesn't work. It's I just find it hilarious. I'll be honest. I'm going to say I love our fan base because they don't know which lane to stick in. Like, Matt, you've got to, if you're going to pick an opinion, you can't just divert your opinion every 5 seconds because you're going to be held to an account, my friend. You go like this. You swerve all over your opinions. It's hilarious.
Foxy's killed him. Foxy's killed him in this debate. I love you. Foxy. Just know this right now. We've never met. I love you because you are sensible. This is the same Matt, right? That when I say I would love John McGinn as our captain and our number 1 midfielder, he says we need better players than that at Tottenham, right? But apparently John McGinn isn't Spurs level, but apparently none of our... It absolutely cracks me.
Matt, if you're going to have an opinion, you've got to stick with your opinion. You can't just... Our fan base is hilarious.
I genuinely think we're funny. By the way, a lot of people are asking me, and we are going to wrap up the show. And we're going to do this once a week because it's just funny. We'll find out 4 more brilliant opinions that we don't agree with for next week. The way I look at this, right, is this. A lot of people in the chat are asking me about, has my opinion changed on winning the Europa League now that Maddison and Bergvall are out? Well, I'm not putting the same hype on Bergvall, no. For me, if we're saying we're not going to win a Europa League because an 18, 19-year-old kid is out who doesn't score or assist, nah. Right? But James Maddison being out is massive. James Maddison being out is absolutely huge. This is the guy that makes us tick. He is the creator in chief. He is the architect. He is the one that pulls the strings on that puppet. Him being out makes me go 50-50. But I'm not going to go back on what I've said the last month or so. I think Spurs will win the Europa League. I think it's written in the stars. I think we've had a nice journey. Matt, I'll tell you what, before we go, somebody please, can you find me the stats on how many games? Perchy, you're bloody brilliant at this. How many games has John McGinn started for Aston Villa this season? Please, please, please.
Oh,
and
don't.
Once I've done this, I'm going to block this guy. Please, please, please. Please.
Karen talking, I'll get you in about,
Okay.
give me 30 seconds.
What you get that to me? It's absolutely crazy. Locatelli wasn't good enough or needed. As Dan, how many Spurs fans said this in the summer? How many Spurs fans said they didn't want Livramento? How many Spurs fans didn't want all these footballers? But now all of a sudden, we don't have a good squad. It absolutely makes you laugh. You know what I am going to do? Perchy, do you know what I'm going to do?
Go on.
All of these peoples, like the Chris's, right? Like the notorious PIG, like the Matts, before this season starts, I am going to do a video where I write down everybody in the chat's predictions. Right?
Yep.
Everybody in the chat's predictions. Perchy, come on, man.
Oh, don't. I think it's brilliant. Ready? So we're gonna do minutes played. So he said, what was the go back to the point. I want to make sure we get it because he mentioned other players. It would be helpful if my phone would load. Okay, he said minutes played. Did he say minutes played? Isn't a start Maguire's to say over Rodgers and Nana Tielemans. Okay, here we go. Squad. Full squad details. We get full stats up here. Where is it? Squad. We want minutes played. Where's minutes played? Stats. That's what we want. Ready, guys? Here we go. Let's play the game in the chat. Out of those players, who's played the most minutes for Aston Villa this season?
I reckon it's going to be Rodgers.
The answer is not Rodgers, Yuri Tielemans.
Okay, fair.
Then it's Rodgers. Then it's John McGinn. That's the three they play.
Essentially, when he's talking about Onana, Kamara, so basically McGinn's played more minutes.
Onana's played 1,800 minutes. Kamara 2.5k minutes. Jacob Ramsey 2.1k minutes. And then you talk about the 3 midfielders they play. John McGinn 3.2. Morgan Rodgers 4.2. And who was the other one I just said? Who was the other? Tielemans 4.4 minutes played. So the three of them have played together the most.
Before we go, I'm going to ask you this, Perchy. They do realise that John McGinn is the captain of Aston.
He had an injury. That's why he hasn't matched up, didn't he? He got injured for a bit of it. But do you know what I love, by the way? Matt, by the way, fair play, because you come to a gunfight with a knife. It's brilliant. Like, I can get factual evidence to prove you wrong with everything you say. It's hilarious. I love this game.
I just don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. Like I genuinely.
Wow, I
know.
don't watch Villa week in, week out. So how can you make this assumption, my friend? What?
I love
Sorry,
it. I
Matt,
love it. Look,
oh,
on that note, I'm going to leave it there because believe it or not, on my second channel, in about 1 minute ago, we have got a watch along. So if anyone wants to join me on the second channel for Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest, I've redirected you there, but I think it's absolutely hilarious. I love this guy. He's not even a starter for them, and he started 31 of 35 Premier League games.
This game is amazing.
This is brilliant. Listen, I'm going to give him, I'll tell you what, didn't he say just hold your hands up? Matt, hold your hands up, Matt. He has had a stinker
and hooked.
Let me tell you this before we go. John McGinn would be our captain and best midfielder.
Yeah, he'd be our best midfielder by a country mile if we had him. 100%.
What are we doing here? By the way, Yuri Tielemans, our fans didn't want him either.
Yeah, no.
Onana, our fans didn't want Onana, right? But now, none of our players get in.
Amazing.
I'm going to leave it there. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you very much to Forever Spurs, who has said, I've been a fan since 2016. I'm 20. It's the worst it's been. Dude, this is the worst it's been. And I've been a fan for 40 years. Big up to you, my friend. Really appreciate it. Big up to Donna Cullen saying, big up Savva Perchy. How is Miss Susie? Oh, God, Donna asking questions.
She's good. She's doing great.
There we go. There we go. Guys and girls, come and join me right now. I'm not even going to have a break. I'm going to go straight to the second channel right now, and we're going to watch Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest to see if there's any wolfy tears. Take care, everyone. We'll see you there in a minute. Come and join us. Bye-bye.